Spence and Terrence Crawford thing.
Bro, you ain't the only one. You ain't the only. I'm tired of that, man. What's your thoughts on that? Who's at fault for the fight not happening? What's your thoughts?
Well, whose fault is it? Earl Spence, man. Like, it's just that simple. Like, what the hell? Look, you have like Terrence Crawford trying his best to make something happen, and then like Earl Spence not wanting it to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, I get it that you're like an out-heming like puppet, but like at the end of the day, like you are the fighter and you can make decisions, and you can make decisions to fight the biggest fight that you will ever fucking fight. Nobody gives a fuck who else you fight.
And this is something that I've been trying to tell boxing fans. If it's not a Terrence Bud Crawford Errol Spence fight, no other fight matters at this point. There's nothing that Errol Spence can do at 54 that's going to raise an eyebrow, that's going to give any depth to his career. Nothing. His whole career has been surrounded by becoming undisputed. His destiny is to fight a Terrence Bud Crawford. All this stuff in between, it actually means nothing. You know, this is actually where Errol Spence's road ends. He says that he has a lot of options. The truth is he doesn't. If anybody has options, it's Terrence Bud Crawford, just due to the fact that he was kept away from so many of the premier 147-pound fighters. So if anybody who has options, if they allow that gate to be open for Terrence Bud Crawford, it's Terrence Bud Crawford, because he's not been able to get his hands on half the people that Errol Spence was able to get his hands on. Now, Errol Spence, for the most part, at 147, being that he spent his whole career at 147, he's done everything that there is to do except get that last belt. And it still begs the question, how could you holler strap season? How could you been hollering, you've been wanting to achieve undisputed? You don't care about the money. You don't care about this. The only thing I care about is undisputed. And then it gets down to the last belt, and then you don't want to pursue it. Nothing else means anything. You know, and to a certain degree, it's the same for Terrence Bud Crawford. However, Terrence Bud Crawford still got people that he can beat up on that people are still willing to watch, because he hasn't got a chance to get his hands on the PBC roster as far as the 147-pound side of things. So if anybody got options, it's actually Terrence Bud Crawford. You know, Errol Spence is trying to avoid the unavoidable. Nobody cares about nothing else. His legacy is going to be surrounded by fighting Terrence Bud Crawford, and to a certain degree, Terrence Bud Crawford. But however, what's going on with Terrence Bud Crawford is nothing new in boxing. There's always going to be a small crop of fighters that are too good for their own good, you know, and they're going to be left out and put out because of this skill set. You know, anybody that knows boxing, knows the history of the sport, knows that in each era we have these guys. You know, that's why I say Terrence Bud Crawford, he's a straight reminder and somewhat of a reflection of Marvin Hagler. You know, Marvin Hagler faced the same thing, not able to get his hands on good opponents. Great fighter, but people are still judging his resume. People don't want to give him the shots. People don't want him to become champion. Matter of fact, Marvin Hagler was the one who got beer bottles tossed at him over in the UK just for becoming a champion. You know, so ever so often you always get these fighters where this stuff happens to, where they basically get kept out. You know what I'm saying? The same thing happened with the Hulk when it comes to Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, so it's nothing new. But the point is, if you want to have a legacy, if you want to have something worth talking about, if you don't want your legacy to be hung on, oh, well, he never fought Terrence Bud Crawford or this, that, and the third, then you need to go do what you said that you was going to do and what you told the fans that you was going to do. Because I'm pretty sure they've been supporting you in thinking that they was going to see an undisputed 147-pound champion. And they believed that was Errol Spence, and they believed that he was the truth. Well, if this man is the truth, then why are y'all hell-bent on not keeping him on his word? It doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But no, nobody's interested in no other fight but seeing him fight Terrence Bud Crawford. And to a certain degree, nobody's interested in Terrence Bud Crawford and who he fights. However, there is leeway and there is room because there is some people that he needs to get his hands on. I mean, even though we know the outcome, but hell, I know the outcome with Errol Spence Jr. And Terrence Bud Crawford. But the point is, it's a fight that the fans need to see. Keith Thurman ain't cutting it. And then after Keith Thurman, this is the big question. This is what I'm going to end it with. After Keith Thurman, since nobody wants to entertain a Terrence Bud Crawford fight, where does Errol Spence go from here? Is going to, number one, elevate his career, and number two, give him the biggest payday of his career. Who is that going to be outside Terrence Bud Crawford? That person doesn't exist. That fight doesn't exist. That fight did exist only in a Canelo Alvarez. But as you've seen, they tried that avenue and it didn't work. So as soon as Canelo Alvarez situation got shut down, that derailed a whole lot of plans over there with PBC. Because I know what they told Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Well, Terrence Bud Crawford is going to be one of your biggest paydays. But how about this? We don't necessarily have to go that route because I can pimp you out to the Canelo Alvarez, and that's going to replace the millions that you was going to make with fighting Terrence Bud Crawford. You're now going to get that with a Canelo Alvarez. So just sit on the sideline like I've been doing Charlo. I've been saving Charlo like some frozen meat for Canelo Alvarez, keeping him a champion and stuff like that. So just do the same thing that he's doing, and trust me, I got you. And then Canelo's shit fell through, and then that left these guys basically free falling. So now they're trying to figure out, well, how are we going to replace that big money payday that we was promised? You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder got the same problem. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree, even though Deontay Wilder is a better situation than all of them over there, because Wilder tell people time and time he doesn't need the money, and I believe him. But the whole point is the Al Heyman plan does not work. And the reason why the Al Heyman plan does not work, it only works with talented fighters like Floyd Mayweather. Okay, the truth is they figured out that they don't really have a Floyd Mayweather over there at the PBC camp. Had you had a guy that was really like Floyd, that was really about that, that really had the skill set, who really wasn't scared of opponents or something like that, that Al Heyman plan would work. But since they're dealing with fighters that's less than half than talented than what Mayweather was, they got to use theatrics. You know what I'm saying? They got to use smoke screens because there is no real deal over there at PBC. It's just not. It's just not. That's my thoughts on this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.
Now, but to be fair, it was Terrence Crawford who pulled out the negotiations and signed another fight. It wasn't Errol Spence who pulled out the negotiations and signed another fight.
That's all lies. Like, Terrence, look, you gotta think about it like this. Why? Like, they are fucking giving Terrence Crawford the most bullshit. Like, so much so that, like, it drags out for so long. And, like, this shouldn't be something that's so hard to do.